goal kicker, Taylor Walker, with a welcome off. Here's Roselli. Roselli kicks the goal.
Handball to the excitement machine, McLeod. Left foot goal.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's a superstar.
Don't tell me. Oh! He's yet to kick an AFL goal. Oh, the velvet curtain.
Walker, he's a colossus. He's kicked 5. He's been a handful. He's been the difference.
To cover himself in glory. Just coming back. And got there.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Proper Crows podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you may be. Spotify, I think I said that already. Doesn't matter. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, tonight we're going to be going through the heart-stopping, almost heart-shattering, I don't even know how to describe it, Showdown win from Friday night against Port. We're going to be going through your feedback, our thoughts on the game, and we're also going to be looking forward to this week's game against the Tigers at the MCG. Probably a little bit lacklustre in comparison to a Showdown, but that's all right. We'll go through it. Of course, not just myself here this evening. I'm joined by Matt. Matt, mate, how are you?
Oh yeah, pretty good. Just still mentally trying to process what we just witnessed on Friday night. It was easily the most exciting climax to a Showdown since that Dawson winning goal in 22. Arguably more exciting given there were 2 late goals, so a lot to talk about in this episode.
Absolutely, a very special evening. And of course, Dill, mate, how are you? Welcome back, mate. It's been a few weeks.
It's been a long time. I think it's my first ep of the season, actually. It's been a long time. It's been a very busy start to the season for me. Had a lot going on. Personally, so it's good to be back in talking some footy, especially after the result that we had on Friday night. And I agree with Matt. I think it was up there with the Dawson result, and I could arguably say it was bigger than the Dawson result. But I'm sure we might have a chat about that after.
Absolutely, mate. We will delve into that in just a bit. Let's start with the scores. It was a very tight game, but what was the final result, Dill?
So Adelaide 11-10 76 to Port 11-9 75. So the 1 point win there, as we all know. We had Keys with 3, Rash and Ibis with 2, and then Phil, Rankin, Pedler and Cook obviously with the singles. It's a bit of a spread, but not probably where we want to be still.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was good to see Keys get back into a bit of form, kick a few goals. Obviously, Big Ibis was good. But, yeah, we left a bit out there, I think, and we probably could have played a lot better. And, of course, we'll get into that, now. In terms of the ins and outs this week, there are a few interesting ones. We had Saligo, Curtin, Nilbullen and Borlace come into the side for Edwards, Maley, Dawson and Nick Murray went out. Nick Murray out was a very interesting call for mine. The others probably fair enough, and obviously Dawes was going through what he was going through, so that was fair enough. Nick Murray for Borlace, in hindsight it turned out pretty well. Borlace had a good game, but at the time a bit strange.
It was an odd one, wasn't it? But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, Nick's gone forward and kicked 3 goals in the Sandful pre-game. He went forward in the last quarter the week before, so I'm not sure what's happening there, but it's worked out well. But other outs I was quite happy with. Obviously, Dawes is having to look after himself about what's going on, which is completely fine by me. Finbar, he's been going well, but we were way too tall the week before. And to see Charlie Edwards go out of his side, I was a very happy man, because I think I spoke about Charlie at the start of the season, how I felt about him and didn't want him fucking playing AFL football, so I was very glad to see the arse end of him. Goodbye. Yeah.
Nah, look, I tend to agree. I mean, he was okay, not in the Brisbane game, the Saints game. He was good, but yeah, he just wasn't quite in the right spot. And I don't think him and Berry and Peatling in the same midfield is going to work very often, if at all. Let's start with the first half of the game. Possibly some of the worst football I've ever laid my eyes on. I think it was maybe 2 goals 6 to 2 goals 7 or something at half time. It was a close game, and we're probably lucky not to be down by 6 goals at that stage. But yeah, ugly football for the first half.
Well, it's the 7th game on the bounce we've travelled at quarter time in, and we've played some pretty average teams, obviously some good teams where we've caught up and hit the front in. But it's for me, it's just getting beyond a joke. You can't start games this bad and expect to just run teams over and get 4 points. Port Adelaide obviously been in good form. They had very unlucky loss against Hawthorn and obviously a fantastic win against Geelong, and it was probably the wrong time to play them, because I think obviously we played them in the first 4 rounds, we probably would have won by a lot more, but just to get dominated by a very ordinary mid-table, probably bottom 8 team in another first quarter of football, I think is pretty embarrassing. This is just getting beyond a joke, because the St Kilda game was very similar, 4 goals to 1, I think maybe even 5 goals to 1 first quarter their way, and then the Carlton game kicking 7 goals in. So these first quarter starts are just hideous, and it's just not something you can get invested in until you're actually up and about, because I don't know, it's just... Surely this week, obviously we play Richmond, I'm not going to jinx it, but surely this week we will at least lead at quarter time for the first time since the Collingwood game. I don't think I can handle another shit start like what we've seen the last 7 games. It's getting unbearable.
Yep, no, 100%, mate. It's I don't know. The Port obviously made it into a contested scrap and didn't really let us do much, but at the same time I didn't really see any intent to sort of take the ball through the corridor or take the game on or play that fast footy that we know works so well. Obviously it took till the third quarter and we went, oh shit, yeah, if we move the ball we can kick goals and we can win this game. But early on it just drab shit and just kicking it to contests and kicking it backwards and kicking it sideways and just no intent to go forward with the ball, which is my most disappointing part of it.
100%. It's just getting to a point. It's really, really hard to watch. It is really hard to watch. Even when we hit the lead in the third and fourth quarter, it's not good football. It is shit. It is really, really awful to watch. I just don't understand how we're not utilising the cattle that we have. Like, people are going to sit there and say we don't have the cattle. Fucking bullshit, we don't have the cattle. It is just... It's just... Oh, I'm so over it, and, you know, I'm not really a numbers man, but I think this one sort of paints the picture. I know Dose spoke about it last week, but it's just gotten worse. Of our handball per metre stat is, at the moment, we're sitting at 127 per game, averaging. Sydney averaging 710.
Sydney had more in their game yesterday than we've had all season.
It's crazy. It's just, I don't understand how you're not able to run and carry the ball, and we're seeing how quick the game is these days. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the clip of Dan Houston on Thursday night, where he started with the ball inside his own 50. He is then kicked, received got a handball receive 4 times in a row, and has ended up 30 metres in goal. He's hit someone on the fucking tip. 4 times. I don't know if we can find this. You guys need to find the clip and watch this. I might send it in the chat after. But it is a thing of glory. He starts in his back 50. He is then kicked. Someone's marked. He's got the handball receive and gone 4 times, and then hit someone later in the chain. He has gut run 120 metres. And you can't tell me we haven't got the cattle to do that. It's just, it's a little guy by the name of Wayne Miller.
He's about the only one who I'm trusting with that. But
I don't know. Like, I've seen a few of the boys they can pick off a kick. Like, Isaac Cumming is good by foot. He's quick. Braden Cook is good by foot. He's quick. Braden Cook I could probably sort of eliminate from that, because he does take the game on when he needs to.
Yeah.
It's just more of a directive of stop-start. I don't understand. I think there was 4 or 5 times on Friday night where even like Toby Murray he'd stopped, planted on the wing. Even Sam Berry a couple of times came through the handball receive and he just stood stagnant. I don't understand. It's that fucking dump kick bullshit down the line. It's just, I'm getting really over it, because even our retention, the stat of retention per kick is still the lowest in the AFL. Sorry, second lowest in the AFL, with only Richmond below us. So we're not even retaining these kicks when we're long kicking down the line. It's hitting the ground and off we go. And we're not great at ground ball gets either. Like, we absolutely killed it on Friday night with our ground ball gets, because Sam Berry was on some sort of... he was on some bullshit on Friday night. I'm not sure what he was on, but he was on some bullshit. But naturally, we're just not winning the ground ball either. So it's just a really, really frustrating start of a season. I know that we're sitting at the same point we were last year, but it doesn't fucking feel like it. I can tell you that.
I just want to say, you did mention the great man's name. Sambury. Did come prepared, and for the Sambury doubters, have a good long hard look in the mirror, because this has been a Sambury season of all seasons, and to get the numbers he did on Friday night, I mean, what a way to silence those critics, because he's been consistent all season. He's just smashed some decent midfielders and just looks apart. But obviously we need some better players around him this year, because it has been a bit of a drop off. But fuck me, Durant, what an incredible performance, on one of the best individual showdown performances I've ever seen. Not just from a Crows player and a Hawk player as well. I think it's overall it's one of the best games anyone's played this year. I mean, to 19 tackles is just unheard of numbers, and if it wasn't for his work rate, we would not have won the game. Guarantee you that.
No, 100%, mate.
But even from that, sorry to interrupt you, Ben, but even from that perspective, he went nuts in the second half. He started slow still. You know, like it's like it was great. He was good. I'm one of his biggest fans as well. With you, Matt, I don't understand the people that hate him. I just don't get it. I think around the clearance and around the stoppage, he's a monster. He's an absolute monster. But it's just getting to a point now where just even players like him, even our big dogs, they're not fucking waking up. So if you can't get up for a game like the Showdown, when are you going to step up? When are you going to fucking wake up?
Yeah. Nah, exactly right. We'll continue giving Sam Berry his flowers just real quick. We'll reel off his stat line here. So obviously 29 touches, 18 kicks. He had 19 tackles, 5 clearances. He had 2 score involvements, 3 inside 50s? No, 7 inside 50s, 700 metres gain. 17 of those possessions were contested possessions. He was just a beast around the ball. And I don't know if you boys have seen old mate Jacob PAFC on Twitter put out a pre-game tweet being like, oh, look at Horn Francis and Butters and all these people against Barry Peatling and whoever the hell was named in the middle. Stick that up your ass, because Sammy Barry just walked over all of them and said, this is how you do it, this is how you win a showdown, and just dominated all the way through the middle. I'm with you boys. I'm very much a Sam Barry fan. He's very much impressed me, probably since the start of last year, really, when he sort of added a bit more speed to his game, and he's just really good. Just keep on this trajectory, Sammy. You're a very important part of this midfield, and I've seen a few comparisons on Twitter to Scott Thompson, maybe a bit of a reincarnation of Tomo. Don't know what you boys think of that, but the big cannon arms.
Maybe too early to say he'd be anywhere near as good as 2012 Scott Thompson, but, we can dream. On the topic of Berry and the likes, I mean, he's probably one of 4 players that have really just taken their game up to that next level this year, and it's been a bit of a regression for a lot of others, unfortunately. But you look at the likes of Rochelle, Wayne Miller, Sam Berry, Josh Worrell, they've all just had the best seasons as Crows so far. I think Worrell probably wasn't as good as he had been in probably the previous 7 games, but he'll still get that blazer this year, guarantee you that. Well, hopefully, unless the AFL wants to continue that in this bullshit rigged path of focusing on Hawthorn players, but that's another story. It's just a genuine delight with those 4. Watching those 4 this year, they've just been a shining light in a pretty mediocre season so far.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. And for everyone listening, we're very sorry for continuing to be negative, but obviously, despite the gloss of the 1-point win, we still have to break down the full game. We will get to some positivity very shortly. I don't know, for me, I just had another point I wanted to touch on while we're talking about individual players. I thought it was really good to see Isaac Rankin enjoying his footy again. He didn't light it up stat sheet wise or anything like that, but just, when he kicked the goal and he gave the crowd a bit of the hands to the ears, and you could tell he was running around happy, and just after the game, the smile on his face, it was good. Because when he's in a good mood, he's an electric player, and he probably should have had another goal given to him, or an assist at least given to him, but we won't talk too much about the umpires taking that off him, despite running sideways. But what were your boys' thoughts on Isaac's game on Friday night?
I think, look, the Brisbane game, the first quarter, I thought, Isaac's back, and then to sort of back it up with a decent game in a showdown. So hopefully we just see him find the rank and form we know and love from last year, because coming back from suspension, he just looked a little bit mentally shot. I think his performances would indicate that. The Geelong game, I think, was the worst of the worst. Obviously, he kicked a goal that game, but it was, I think, may have only had 3 disposals the entire game, something pretty grim like that. So I think just the first few games back, just getting the gist of it all again, and I think now we can say he's probably found his feet. And against Richmond, you just do hope that he can put the ball on a string, kick about 3 or 4 goals, and ice the game in before half time, so we can, for the first time this year, be bored shitless watching a Crows win.
No, that would be very, very nice. Yeah, I checked the stats just then. I thought I must have misread earlier. He had 23 touches, 5 tackles, 5 clearances, almost 550 metres gained. So it was a better game statistically than I thought it was. But just to see him running around and enjoying his footy was really positive for me. Absolutely love to see that. Were there any other players that stood out for you boys that you want to touch on at the moment, just while we're going through a few individual performances?
Big shout out to Ben Keys. I mean, he's been through the ringer this year. Just form has been horrendous. I think the Brisbane game, you'd have to say, was his worst ever game as a Crow in the 6 years he's consistently played. He hasn't missed a game since round 1 2020, I believe. So that was easily for me the worst I've seen Keys play. So to back it up with 3 goals straight in a showdown, and I think the last quarter was mega important, kicking that goal, which put us, I think, 2 or 3 goals up, and then the minute later, Thilthorpe, what looked like ice the game, but we obviously wasn't to be. Then I think to get Ben Keys kicking goals again is great, and just one of those players that he probably should have been dropped if we had the players available that could have came in after the Brisbane game. But I don't really think we do have that at the moment. Yeah. But he's definitely saved a spot in the team. So hopefully Benny just sees out the year and continues playing good football.
Yeah. 100%, mate. How about you, mate? Anyone stand out?
Well, I think he's got his flowers all week, but I think Braden Cook again, even without kicking that goal, he was still great. The way that he's come on this season, he's just been so good. I think he had 21 touches. I think he had 4 direct score involvements. He kicked that goal as well at the end. He's just the way that he's sort of come on as a player. It's just great. Like, I think at the start of the season we said keep D-list, and I think we had Braden Cook in our D-list pile. He's playing for a contract this year, and all of a sudden he's come out and done this. So I'm hoping a 3 or 4 year contract is on the table for him. He won't leave. He's an Adelaide boy, but at the same time he needs to be rewarded for it.
I just want to say, on the Cook winning goal, share your wholesome stories of what you went through, going through the motions of the last minute of the game, the Berry goal, the Miller disallowed goal, and then obviously the Cook goal with 10 seconds left. Just talk us through how you felt, because I wasn't with you boys during the last quarter or at all during the game. I was a fucking nervous wreck, as I normally am in showdowns, and I think I would have stood in at least 5 different spots during the game. So yeah, it was kind of one of those nights. But yeah, talk us through it, guys. I mean, I want to hear the best limbs of the season. Being on the hill, obviously that would have been great, but it was still good being in the southern stand watching all that unfold.
Oh, mate, what a roller coaster that last 2.5 minutes was. It was. Miller kicks that goal and everyone just jumping on each other and hugging each other for a good 10 to 15 seconds before we realised, oh shit, there's a free kick that's been given. Was eerily similar to another moment that happened like that a few years ago, which we won't touch on for obvious reasons, but it was ecstasy for those few moments. And then as soon as the free kick got reversed, I think we were all kind of standing there going, we know what comes next here. Like, we could all feel that there was some sort of shafting coming in. And obviously Port go down and Berry kicks that goal and you go, fuck, yeah, there it is. But, the boys go back to the middle. Isaac wins a free kick. And you go, all right, hold on a second. We've still got 35 seconds. There's time. Phil probably could have got a free kick in the contest for a push in the back, but that's completely okay. You think Miller is going to get tackled holding the ball out the other side, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, not again. Danny Curtin does a little basketball dribble to pick the ball up off the ground and handballs to Cook, and then she was on for young and old on the hill after he slotted that goal. It was some of the most incredible ecstasy I have ever experienced, mate, and it was hugging 55 different people who some I knew, some I didn't, and just getting around absolutely everyone, and everyone was into it. Dill was up and about, I'll tell you that much.
And one question is, did any Crows fan or around you start leaving after that Berry goal?
Nah, no one on the hill left actually, which I was somewhat surprised about.
Except for my brother, who was out the ground with 10 minutes left. But that's another story, and we're not giving him a shout out.
Yeah, I was going to say your brother and Andrew Gillen and Greg Swan left with 4 minutes to go as well.
Dear
so
me.
They're complete
Scum.
morons, but yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit after. But now it was very much the same. I had a bit of a different experience actually. I had this fucking Port toss pot in front of me, who he was sort of yapping on all game. He didn't give much, but then he kept trying to come over and like put his arms around my partner, who's a Port fan, had the Port scarf on, and I told him a couple of times, fucking get off. You know, he kicked the Berry goal and he came over and went to put his arm around her. I said, can you not fucking touch her? And he got a bit lippy in my ear. He goes, I hope the fucking Crows lose, you guys are fucked, blah, blah, blah. And so my first reaction when we kicked this goal was to turn around and give it large to be... And, you know, fucking shock horror, he's fucking gone. He was off and fucking running, so there was a few big ones, a few explicits being yelled to him at the time, and I had fucking Steph in my ear saying, Dylan, shut up, fucking leave it. But it was on, so... That was it was a rough night with her, because she's a big Port fan, you guys know, but it was more getting in her face, telling her where to stick it, because she was giving it to me. When Berry kicked that goal, I thought, oh fuck, it's gonna be a fucking long night home. But it was good. I've actually got it above Jordan Dawson kicking a goal. I've got it above that.
I think
just the pure of, oh fuck, it's happened again. Like, it was just Motlop all over again.
Yeah, I mean that was my first thought, and I as a Port fan, I was walked past me at the end of the game. I said it's 2018 reversal. Yeah, I do agree. There's probably more important than the Dawson goal after the siren. The reason for that is obviously we are a contender, unlike we were in 22. So every game sort of does matter in the context of the season. Whereas back then it was just like winning a showdown would have been a good season for the Crows. But I think I'll talk you through my last 2 minutes of the game. After the Miller disallowed goal, I got up and stormed off. And then Berry kicked the goal, and I kept walking. I was sort of at the south gate. I wasn't on the footbridge, thankfully. So after the Berry goal, I had a weird thought. I thought, you know what? Showdowns are fucking mental. Anything can happen in these last 30 seconds. And I did not accept defeat, which is bizarre for me. Walked back in, stood behind the Crows cheer squad in the standing area. I didn't actually have a view of the kick, but I had a view of the wing. And I remember I was looking at the wing, not the action. And I just saw the Eastern Stand, every fucking person on the Eastern Stand just fucking going ballistic. And I'm just trying to process, have we kicked a goal? Is it going to be overturned? I probably celebrated after the goal was signalled, when the goal was kicked. So I was just in a total state of shock, jumping on people. Just, one of my best mates I used to go to games with all the time at Amy Stadium, I was sitting with him for the last quarter, so I walked back to those seats and just... big fucking mental celebrations. It was just, it went from a state of shock to a state of holy fuck elation. Like, it was, for me, it does rival some of the best games I've ever been to as a Crows fan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a quick shout out when you're talking about everyone rising as one as we kick the goal. If you haven't seen it, head to the Adelaide Oval Instagram page and watch the video of the hill and the northern end going up as Cook kicks that goal. I can't watch it without getting goosebumps. It's insane, and like Matt said, it's up there with one of the best games or moments. One of the best moments. Let's not say one of the best games. It was one of the best moments that I think we've probably all been involved with at the footy.
Yeah, it was genuine limbs. Like, that was, you can't say that about many AFL games, but that was genuine limbs. Like, it was fucking mental.
Not just say, like, the Victorian media, they love pumping up the atmosphere, say Collingwood Carlton or an MCG final. You would never get scenes like that for a late goal and a full-time siren anywhere else in the country except for a Crows Port showdown. There is nothing like it.
Yep. Genuinely, not even close. Honestly, not even close.
No.
Like, it's ridiculous. And you know, obviously, Kenny Hinkley's been in a position of Port head coach, and we've been on the other side of him. But when he said it's the best rivalry in Australia other than the Ashes, I can't disagree.
When you have former Crows players, former Port players that are at other clubs living in other cities still saying it's the best rivalry, you got to believe them, because they could easily turn around and say fuck South Australia, don't care, Victoria's better. But they always, pretty much all of them, to my knowledge, have just said Showdown's the best rivalry.
Yeah.
It's a genuine hatred. Like, it's not even just not liking each other. It is a genuine hatred. Like, there is just, I don't think there's another two teams in the country that could do it. Like Essendon and Collingwood, you know, they probably sort of push that line, or even to a degree.
Hawthorn Geelong in its prime was a big rivalry, and they've got history. Yeah. But I'll take it back to this. I think what separates the Showdown from Victorian rivals is, when the Crows played Richmond in the 2017 Grand Final, every Victorian wanted Richmond to win. If Port played Richmond in the Grand Final, every Crows fan will be going for Richmond. So I think that sort of separates it.
Yeah.
So they sort of back their own, whereas we would never back Port unless you don't really follow it like we do, basically.
Yeah. No, exactly. We were actually talking about this at work today because we got a new trainee who doesn't really follow footy, and I was kind of just, going a bit crazy and reminiscing on the night with a couple of my colleagues who follow the footy, and she was like, "Oh, well, why do you guys hate each other so much?" And I was like, "Well, just is what it is." And she's like, "Oh, but what if they were in a grand final?" And she used that example of against the Victorian team, and I was like, I could not give a fuck if they were playing against Collingwood, if they were playing Carlton. Think of the most hated teams in the AFL. I would be on the other side of that, and I wouldn't think twice about it. There is not a team they could come up against that I would be like, South Australian team, I'd like them to win. Just, no.
Well, I know I'm a bit old.
I'd give you my left foot over Port winning a flag.
Yeah.
I should give you my left foot.
You can have both of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a few more arms as well. Fuck that. Had to relocate somewhere in outside of Australia, but don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a bit few years older than you boys. Obviously, 07, I lived it. Geelong winning that grand final. And just, I think at 11, 12 years old, I was just fully submersed in the hatred with Port Adelaide then. And I remember it was school holidays was just started, thankfully. I remember thinking, thank fuck school holidays here, because I'm not going to front any Port fan after they win the grand final. And then it went from dreading that to waiting 2 weeks to go back to school and giving them all shit. So yeah, it's good memories.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. Let's go to... let's go to some feedback from the listeners. I'll just pull up Facebook really quick because it was... it was busy. It was busy on Friday night. The fans were up and about. We have got a lot of people who were just saying, fuck yeah, fuck did that just happen? You're a star, Braden Cook. And Jake Perkins on Saturday morning said, if you haven't got the replay on first thing this morning, you're doing it wrong. Very well said, Big Perk.
You would have to be skipping to at least half time though.
Oh shit, yeah. I only watched the second half. I didn't watch the first half again.
Yeah, that first half was awful. I think I spent more time at the fucking bar than watching the football because I wanted to claw my eyes out.
Yeah, 100%. We've got Vanessa who says, the boys did an amazing job and a very memorable win. The terrible calls by the umpires could have cost us the game, but they fought hard and showed everyone what they're made of. Well done. The crowd was right behind you. What a fantastic final goal. Incredibly well said about the umpires because there's probably about 5 decisions we could look at that pretty much directly cost us goals.
While we're talking about umpires, now I've been doing a lot of research about this because you go back to the 2023 Ben Keys goals. We found out the goal umpire's name about 10 minutes after we lost. I think had we lost this game, you'd be seeing a massive forum of each and every umpire that was playing that was on the field that night. I will eliminate a few of them. So the 4 umpires all up were Matt Stevich, Cameron Dorr, Andrew Heffernan and Martin Roger. I'm going to eliminate, I believe, Matt Stevich and Martin Roger for this specific moment, and it brings it down to 2. And I'm not going to name and shame directly, but it comes down to 2. The Wayne Miller disallowed goal. Big call here. I think it is equally as bad as a Ben Keys ghost goal in the context of the game. We've never seen a free kick given for something that literally is not a free kick. Players are able to use their body to try and shepherd the ball through. Rochelle did not push the Port player, and you can clearly see he's gone flying over, not even minimal contact. He's just next to him. And the umpires in the back of the mind, this has to be preconceived match fixing. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They had in the back of the mind that we want to see a Port Adelaide win, and we want to see an angry Crows crowd because they must feed off it, because you can't do this every fucking year where we have apology after apology after apology after apology, and then it comes down to a showdown, a close showdown, and you have a decision like that, disallowing a goal, making it all about yourself. You're an absolute disgrace of 4 umpires I've made, and you should not be allowed to umpire minimum for at least 2 months of football and deducted wages for your involvement in the most scandalous umpiring I've ever seen at Adelaide Oval.
It was bad. It was real bad. And when they were walking off after the game, because my mum and dad sit on the Western Stand side wing, she was like, that was as loud as I have heard people boo them off. It was like the whole stadium was, because they sit next to the race where they walk out, and she was like, that was the most feral, into them that she's ever seen them. And like, I've sat there with them, growing up the whole life, and I've seen some pretty bad, abuse of the umpires coming off. And obviously we're not condoning abuse to the individual or anything like that, but yeah, it was one of the worst umpiring performances you're going to see.
There's got to be some sort of fucking accountability. Like, I'm sorry, but it's at the point, like, that Butters free kick, give me a fucking spell.
Yep.
Give me a spell. And then, obviously, that goal it's just a disgrace. It's a genuine disgrace. Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't understand. Like, you're just not calling that. It's just, it's not a free kick ever. It's got to be, like, I don't understand how another apology was nearly having to be said. And just quickly, Josh Jenkins, you are a fucking dud as well. But going on Twitter saying we shouldn't be expecting them, we shouldn't get to that position. Thank God for Paul Seedsman telling him where to fucking go. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, that's like, it's just, I don't understand. Like, 4 goals, but it was a 4-goal turnaround purely from umpiring decisions.
Yeah.
4-goal turnaround. I'm not saying it was great on our end, but at the same time, it's just that the 4 goals were caused. It could have been a 5 or 6 goal game. It's just, I don't. If I keep going, I'm going to call someone a slur. So let's keep going.
The only one that I'm going to give them a pass for, and actually theoretically, I'm not giving them a pass for, but Saligo goal was not a goal. From where we were standing,
we saw that from behind the hill.
That was a point. Yeah, that was definitely a point. But you can't overturn it without the evidence. And on the replay, you didn't have evidence to overturn it. So how are we saying that there's definitive evidence that didn't, that went past the post?
They must have had an angle that we couldn't see. There had to be.
I don't know if you watched the replay. They only watched the 2 angles. That's the only thing that they showed. And maybe they do have other angles.
But we saw it instantly and said that wasn't a goal. We all turned to each other and said, that missed. But we were surprised when they called it goal in the first place. We were like, oh, okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, ball it up.
Yeah.
I think the blame really has to go with Matt Stevich, because he is sort of the main man of those 4. I've never heard of the other 3, and Matt Stevich is a seasoned umpire. I think he is one, I dare say, is like the captain of the umpires. He'd address the umpires, tell them everything they need to know. He has to be held accountable above all 4 in total. And this guy's he's umpired grand finals, and to be involved in a game that badly umpired, how the fuck can you ever expect to be umpiring a final like that again? Seasons are on the line, and in those games, seasons are essentially on the line after 8 games, because I think had we gone 3 and 5, we're looking at the bottom of the barrel. We're looking at narrowly scraping into the 10. Whereas now, after winning, the difference between a win and loss, I think now we can start looking at a top 6 finish, which probably wasn't on the mind. I mean, it's still early days. We've got 3 extremely hard games in a row coming up after the next 2. We've got Hawthorn and Tassie, we've got Geelong at Adelaide Oval, Bulldogs at Marvel, who are back to full strength. So to get a win in the Showdown at the time we did is vital in the race for finishing top 6.
Yeah, 100%. Now, let's move on to our votes from the game. Now, I assume there's going to be 2 blokes who stand out here that we're going to go with. But, Matt, I'll start with you. Who gets your 1?
1 I'll give to Ben Keys, just because he needed a game like that. He's just, as I said before, he's just had a horrendous season overall. Take out the Carlton gather-round game, I think every game he's been pretty poor in. And he did admit after, I think, the Brisbane game, that he probably, I mean, he didn't. I think he was implying he could have been dropped based on how he was playing. So I'll give him 1 because it was a response performance.
Yeah, 100%. Dill, how about you, Matt?
Braden Cook for me. I think he needs to be in the vote, especially after the goal that he kicked. But he was very solid out in that wing, and he kind of took the piss out of everyone they sort of put on him. So fucking Braden Cook, 1 vote.
Yep, same here. I had Cookie at the 1. Matt, who gets you 2?
It's such a tricky one because now more and more names are coming to my head. It's like you have to give it to Braden Cook because of the goal. But then I look at other players that I'm leaving out the top 3. Wayne Miller obviously deserves a vote, so it's a tricky one. I think in the confinements of a 4-quarter game, I'll have to give the 2 to Wayne Miller because he is having a season that, I remember we played, I loved going back to games, but round 1, 2022, we played Freo. I think it was his first game back after 2 years of just not playing at all, and he was shit. And I was saying to everyone, why is he still on the list? This is another wasted first-round draft pick here. What are we doing? And then to come up with an All-Australian style season as he has this year it's pretty unbelievable. And I think if assuming he carries on this form, I'll be shocked if he doesn't get an All-Australian blazer this year.
Yeah, 100%. He's playing incredible footy, and the general off of the half-back line. We said pre-season that he could look into a Zorko-ish type of role, and he's not been too far off the distributor sort of role that Zorko does play off that half-back line. Dill, your 2, mate?
Wayne Miller for me, for the same reasons. He's a bit of a general back there. The way that he uses the footy is just superb, and I might touch on it in a second, but I just really do hope that we could use him a little bit better, because if we used him just, an ounce differently, the bloke could be, I was going to call him a kid, he's not a fucking kid anymore, but he could be, destroying this competition, not like we saw Nasai do last year. Like, he could be running amok, like taking the piss. So yeah, Wayne too for me.
It's a big question to ask. I mean, is Wayne Miller averaging more numbers this year than Nasai? Is that too big of a thing to say? So he's actually so we could so Nasai Wangling Miller is essentially a shit Wayne Miller.
He's the real Miller.
Yeah, 2 million a year. Thank you very much.
Yep. Very well said. Wayne gets my 2 as well, and can I assume that we've all got Berry sitting at 3, the Showdown medalist, of course?
Yeah.
Sam Berry all day, every day. If your 3 isn't going to Sam Berry, you can find the block button on my timeline. I think it's those 3 little dots near my profile picture. So tread carefully here, I dare say you will.
100%. There's no doubt, mate. Berry gets my 3 as well, so he was definitely best on ground. Wayne was close. He was very, very close, but Berry's 19 tackles and his work around the ball just got him over the line for me. But I would have been happy with either of them winning the medals, to be honest with you, on Friday night. Dill, do you want to touch on the use of Wayne before we move on to a couple of other things?
Yeah, 100%. I think it just goes back to, the very first stat that we sort of spoke about is this handball per metres gained. He could so easily be changed. This could be changed so easily. Like, I don't know. Our ball use is such an area of improvement. I think. Like, even though we won on Friday night, I'm still not okay with how we're playing our football. Yeah. There's so much room for improvement. Like, if we even look at a stat here, our threat rating through our kicks, which is essentially a player's kick that is resulting in a shot on goal later in the chain. Yeah, our threat rating is 21.9, which is the lowest in the AFL. It is the lowest in the AFL. When you're watching Richmond play, you're watching West Coast play, even watching teams like St Kilda play, they're not good sides. They are not good sides. It's a little bit. It's concerning. It is very, very, very concerning. And it's getting to a point of, when is this going to change, or how is this going to change? Because I'm just, it's where are we? What are we at the moment? It's 8 games in.
Yep.
We've had 8 weeks to change it, and if something doesn't change for the next couple of weeks, I think you can nearly write goodbye playing any sort of September football. Because, as Matt said, 3 of our next 6 are Hawthorn and Tasmania,
loss,
the Bulldogs, and
50-50.
Geelong.
And Geelong is also 50-50, but I think the Hawthorn game in Tassie, forget it. We just have to get through that unscathed. It'd be great to get closer like we did last year, but I can't see it. I think Hawthorn are much improved, even though I still don't think they're the absolute best. I'd say Sydney at the moment have to be considered that, but I think Hawthorn in Tassie, it's going to be too much to take in the terms of the contest. And we have won a game there 3 years ago, but that was when they were bottom 4. So don't read into that much.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's somewhat worrying. And obviously, you want to be an optimist. You really, really want to be an optimist, and you look at last year and go, one of the better teams in the comp. But all the evidence on this year is you're looking at it going, they're just not. There's something missing. There's a link in the chain that's just not quite working well enough.
I'll tell you who's missing, and it's big and obvious. Riley Thilthorpe, and I think it's just, please Riley, please just, if you are playing against Richmond on Sunday, assuming that we have you fit and firing, because he does look like he's playing with some sort of injury, and we've said this for weeks. But who, with Fogarty unavailable for the last 5 weeks, it's who comes in. Toby Murray's done a great job, but we need someone that's a bit better than Finbar to kind of just be a like for Thilthorpe. And I'm just praying that Thilthorpe does what he did against Richmond last year, 5-goal game, something like that, just to get your season up and running, because it's disheartening watching our fucking boy playing such below average football. He's so much better. He can't take a contested mark anymore. Fucking, you look at Aaron Cadman play for the Giants yesterday, just clunking contested marks like Thilthorpe did last year. Just reminds you of how good he was only less than 10 months ago. Fucking lift Thilthorpe.
Yeah, I do think he's playing under an injury cloud, though. I don't think he is fit, but I do agree with that. He could be playing so much better, but also the supply that he's getting is atrocious. It is atrocious. You know, like our inside 50 retention rate is only 45% at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, so even when at the same time he is getting a supply.
He was dropping sitters left, right, and centre in that first quarter, and I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? And missing 10 minutes out.
Do you think he's fit?
No, he's not fit. He's not fit, but should
he be playing then?
Well, that's because we don't have any like-for-like changes. As I said, Fogarty is probably playing another game of golf. He'll miss another 10 weeks. But we need to fucking try and build around a different kind of style of play. I don't think we can go with 3 tools as frequent as we can, because there's just not enough options there.
I agree with you, but if he's not fit, he shouldn't be playing. Like, I don't really. I just don't think there's any way around this, because we have this conversation week in, week out.
Do we have to consider bringing Nick Murray and playing a forward role against Richmond then? I mean, last year it worked. We brought in.
We can do that.
Last year we brought in Max Michelini playing as a forward role against Richmond, kicked 3 goals. So they've got a shit defence. We can play anyone there, and I think maybe give Thilthorpe a rest. But I would love to see him also dominate a shit team and get his season up and running.
Yeah,
but if we're under the assumption he's not fit, he just shouldn't be playing a game like this where we should be winning by 7 or 8 goals.
I think the next
Murray, not like he hasn't done anything. He's kicked 3 goals in the showdown the week before. So he deserves a spot.
So assuming, I mean, I'm not assuming, so I think he'll probably still play Thilthorpe, but Tex is injured, so forget him. Mm-hmm. Thilthorpe is underdone. Forget Fogarty, but if that's the case, we go with a forward line of Nick Murray, his brother Toby, and who else? Like, the Murrays aren't going to exactly carry. I mean, Richmond are the bottom of the barrel, but I still think that's a concern, just with 2 guys that aren't really seasoned forwards playing in an AFL game of football.
I think Finbar would come in that aspect.
Mm.
Yeah, the only other thing that I would think about as well is I don't think we're in a position to play without food. We're not sitting 6-2 like we were, flying along last year, where you go, it's only Richmond at the G. We're scraping past teams barely, and I don't think we're in a position to risk going to Melbourne and even with Richmond's 17 injuries that they've got, and Prestia and Nankervis and all these players out, if he's not fit, I agree he shouldn't be playing. But if it's a choice, then I'd keep him out there.
But I don't think it would be just not playing for the sake of it. I think he genuinely needs a week. Like we were saying this about Jake Saligo as well. Yeah. Look at a week off did him. It didn't fucking wonders. He's come through and he's broken a game apart. Yeah. Like it's just like, who would he be playing against? I don't know. Fucking Richmond from Embarrass Soap. Well, they got Ben Miller. The fullback? No, Bolter played forward this week. He kicked 3.
He was great. It's amazing what happens when they let him travel interstate.
Tom Brown.
No curfews.
Who's you got? Tom Brown. Who? Ben Miller. Who? It's just if you're able to give them supply, they'll play really well. I know you've got Vlossen and Broad back there. But, Sam Grill isn't exactly a name that sticks out the page. It's going to be able to destroy Rankin or Rash. It's just not going to happen. And then you've got, you'll have your Chesises and your Tom Burtons that, sort of moving through. I know Tom Burton's more of a, high half forward, but he did go back there for a little bit. It's just not going to happen unless they bring in a fucking Luke Trainer or something like that. I don't think that there's much that's going to give us a worry, heading into that forward 50. So, Finbar can plug a mark. Nick Murray can play forward as we've seen. He did it a couple of years ago as well. Ibis can clunk a mark. I think there's opportunity there to sort of give a little bit of confidence to these younger guys, and then go and give Riley Thilthorpe just to sit down for a week and say, get your back right, do what you need to do, and then come back, for this next 4 or 5 week block and tear the season apart and give us some confidence.
Yep.
Yeah. No, 100%. Let's move on to proper good and proper crap before we head on to the SANFL results and maybe discuss who might potentially come in this week. Matt, do you boys have a proper good to start with?
Proper good. Jeez Louise, Braden Cook. It's just, what more can you say? We spent a good 10 minutes talking about the his winning goal, but yeah, it's just the most extraordinary way for a lifelong Crow supporter to have a moment like that in the biggest game in South Australia. I can't get enough of watching it. I don't know about you boys, but I've rewatched that about 200 times. I think in the last 4 days. Yeah. I think it's the Dawson goal after the siren. I'll rewatch that a lot. The 2017 prelim final, watch that fucking on repeat many times. I don't think I've watched a clip like this since the Samberry winning goal against Carlton in 2024.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And for me as well, it's all the other content surrounding it as well, because there are so many good videos. I loved the one of, and I'm not going to give the page a shout out actually because we don't like the individuals who posted it, but there's a video from the Eastern Wing when it happens, and watching Lockie McAndrew just jump over 4 players and just step over the other side was one of the most funniest things I've ever seen as well. It was, the big lanky fella, he just literally steps over the top of him, which is quite funny. My proper good, hill celebrations. Simple. Even that one with the Miller goal before we realised it was a point, that was just complete euphoria. The feeling of running around and just gripping on to anyone who's near you with the Crows colours on is special. And it goes to show the in-depth psychological benefits that football can have on people. We talk about the negatives a lot. That community on the hill is special. Very, very special.
Yeah, 100%.
Dill, how about you?
I mean, for mine, I think I'll step away from the Crows. You boys have basically taken everything up, but I think this weekend of footy in general, I really think it was a really good weekend of footy. You know, those first 3 games were great. You know, we had that draw on Thursday night, which I think was game of the season. Not sure if you boys watched it, but that was an absolute rip snorter.
Yeah.
You know, our game, it was a shit game of footy, but a massive result. You know, I watched bits and pieces of the game before us as well. That was great.
Yep.
And you go back to last night, which we're recording Monday night, so Sunday night's games of, you know, that Sydney-Melbourne game was an absolute rip snorter. Even that Gold Coast Giants game was good as well. You know, watching that, having to win a game of fantasy football was a little bit annoying. Yeah, you know, even the Geelong North game was close until, you know, late in that third quarter.
Yeah.
I will say this on North Melbourne. If they can play the way they did in that first half, we're in real trouble, because we start games shit, they start games well. I mean, North Melbourne have not won at Adelaide Oval since they've never won at Adelaide Oval. They haven't won in Adelaide since 2003 against the Crows. So it's, I mean, and they had an awful record against Geelong. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's like we have another first quarter like we have the last 7 weeks against North Melbourne. I'm calling it now. I can see us losing against the Kangaroos. They're not a bottom 4 team anymore. It's a lose.
No, they're not.
But then again, you know, we need a confidence boost, a smashing result. Remember who we are, kind of a result against Richmond, and then go from there. But I think would be too good for North. But you know, if I did like what I saw from North Melbourne, I think they're a very well drilled team, and they could be a surprise packet in terms of making wildcard finals. They definitely won't make the top 6 though.
No, so I disagree with that. I still think they're just not good enough. I'll be very surprised if they do not finish in that bottom 4. Like they've got. Have you seen the run they've got coming up?
So
have you seen the run they've got coming up?
Yes,
They
but
will not win another than
there's
6.
There's 3 teams who are a lock for bottom 3: West Coast, Essendon, and Richmond. So who gets the 4th spot? Carlton haven't won a game since round 1 even, I think. So
if Carlton will do something, I don't think let's go through this. I know this is a Crows podcast, but we're going to go through this here. North will lose this week. We'll beat North. That's 0-2. Gold Coast will beat them at 0-3.
No, I disagree, because that game's over in Marvel, and Gold Coast, they never play well against North anywhere. Except for Linddock Oval.
Fremantle will beat them in Bunbury. That's 0-4.
Yeah.
They'll beat
West Coast.
They'll win that.
Yeah.
They've then got Richmond. Sorry, they'll win that.
Yeah.
And then they've got Essendon. They've got that easy run again.
They'll win that.
Yeah, fuck. Then they've got Port here. They'll lose that.
Kanga TV would be loving this content. We've been talking about North for about 3 minutes.
They got Melbourne. I'm just going back. They got St Kilda. They'll lose that. They're cut.
Anyway,
on that, Ben will be on Further North pod next week. So
I will be. So you can. That's a little preview for next week. That's all that was. We just wanted to talk about North for a few minutes. And catch me on Further North podcast next week for a preview of the big game against the Roos. But yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I don't see them as the shit team anymore. And if we start like we have been, then there's always possibilities of teams getting a jump on us and running away. But it's okay. Proper crap. I'll start us off. Proper crap is just the AFL umpiring department, plain and simply. That's all I need to say. We all know. We talked about it before. They were shit. How about you boys?
I took the words out of my mouth. Matt Stevich, Cameron Dorr, Andrew Heffernan, and Martin Roger. Go fuck yourself. You are a disgrace to our sport, and you should never be allowed to umpire in the state of South Australia again. You deserve the Nick Foot treatment of getting sacked from Sportsbet because you guys clearly work for them. Get the fuck out of our league.
And I'll follow suit with the AFL. Greg Swan, Andrew Dillon. What a two bunch of fucking tosspots. Leaving with 4 minutes to go of the game, and even putting us to a secondary game on a Friday night. Like, how many times do we sort of have to show that this deserves a primetime spot? It's a disgrace. Fuck them both off. When they came on the screen on Friday night, they both got booed. It was a thing of glory. It was a thing of glory.
Absolutely.
So, honestly, they just... fuck them. Proper crap. Two wankers. The AFL's fucked. Burn the place down and restart, please.
Yep. Umpiring, fixturing at the top. Oh shit! Could have reeled off plenty of things there. Onto the SANFL, we didn't start the evening particularly well. We went down to Port Adelaide 15-8, 98 to 18-10, 118. Blake Drury, Finbar Maley and Nick Murray all kicked 3. We had Bennett, Mitch Marsh, Archie Ludowick and Tyler Welsh with 1. Sorry, Mitch Marsh kicked 2, Bennett kicked 2 as well. Ludo and Welsh kicked 1 each. I was still at work. I did not catch much of this at all. I don't know if you boys saw much of it.
I was too busy watching the mighty Panthers get their 3rd win of the year and jump above the likes of Sturt. So, Paul McKenzie, mind the gap, mate.
Yep. And I'm also employed, so I did not watch that, unlike Zay Burnell.
We're just we'll box score watch for a little bit here, just real quick. Riley O'Brien had 23 disposals and 11 clearances. Not a bad performance by the big
Who
fella.
was he fucking versing?
That's a great question, actually. Who was the Port Ruckman? Lachlan Arnold.
There you go. You'd hope he'd be fucking doing that on probably about 600k a year. The big dopey fuck.
Yep. No, very well said. Lockie Scholl had 31 touches, only 1 clearance out of that, 4 inside 50s, so not much of a effective game. Nank had 26 with 0 clearances and 1 inside 50. Charlie Edwards went back and had 22 touches, 2 clearances, 7 inside 50s, so that's a little bit more impactful. Billy Dowling, 19 touches, 8 inside 50s, 3 clearances, so he had a bit better of a game. And Sid Draper, the man who causes us to be rent-free in someone's Twitter mentions, who we won't mention because he doesn't listen, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he was going at us at half-time of the AFL game about Sid Draper.
Yep. Clearly has nothing better to do than...
Go look after your kids, you fucking moron. Seriously, you got something better to do with your life?
Has to be something better in old mate's life to get on with than going at us, but... That's all right. Engagement. Thanks for tagging us and everything like that. But, Sid had 13 touches, 6 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 tackles.
Is he a concern, though? It's starting to hit a concern point.
I think so. I mean, I'm a South fan. I barely saw him play because he was injured, and now he's underperforming in SNFL level for the Crows reserves. And Matty Nick said last year, or at the start of this pre-season, he says... he's a 19-year-old in a 15-year-old's body or something like that, and it just can't quite match up against the likes of like a John Newcomb in the big time body for body. I think it is a concern because his football last year came in, sort of started okay-ish, kicked a goal against North, but then wasn't really anywhere to be seen after that. He's coming off the bench as a sub, but I just wasn't overly impressed. And you look at first-year players, obviously Dan Curtin wasn't a great first-year player, then he came great, and we were all very critical then, but I don't see the comparison. I think Curtin was already a AFL body, big body player that can probably play his role well, and then there's Sid Draper, who's just, I don't know, have we missed the boat on the like of Jagger Smith or something like that in that first round of the draft, because I don't know what's going on.
He's got Jordan Gallucci written all over him and Mike Baholke written all over him.
Deary me. That's a big call.
He's just got I really want to be. I want to be wrong in that. I probably haven't watched enough of him, but when I have seen what he's been doing, he's just, he's burst out for stoppage here and there. But I think there's a real big cause for concern here. There's a really, really big. It's really concerning. It's
a very hard role to do well in and excel in, that inside mid role, and we've been looking for the next best thing to help the likes of Dawson in there, and this is not looking good at all. I don't want to be a critic just yet. He's only, I think, is he 20 years old yet?
Yeah,
second 20. Year. 20. I mean, 21, 22. If he's still on the list, we'd love to look back at these conversations and laugh and just be totally wrong. But this is not
19. He's not 20 yet.
19, yeah. So I think 20 onwards is when it's really going to be a bit of a concern if there's no improvement.
Yeah, I kind of look at an Elijah Sardis who went at pick 5 for Essendon, and he's just plodding along doing absolutely sweet fuck all, and that's what really concerns me. If he just turns into that sort of type, it's just, we've missed the boat again with another top 10 pick. But fingers crossed, touch wood, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, look, I'm very much of the opinion that I'm not going to write him off yet, and old mate on Twitter who we were talking about, we're not even going to give the airtime of his name. If you've been listening to us for a while, you know exactly who we're speaking about. But to jump on him the way that he does is weird obsession. This kid is 19 years old. He had a very injury interrupted preseason. We know the expectations are big. He was a pick 4. Of course we want him to be out there running around like Nick Dacos was in his first year, but a majority of first year, second year players aren't doing that, especially off an injury interrupted preseason. And for a bloke who, he was probably a bit skinny, a bit small last year when he came in, he's put on the bulk, he's learning to work with his new body. I'm not willing to write him off. Of course it's concerning. We'd love for him to be out there getting 30 and 10 clearances and playing an all-star game every week, but I think let's look at him at the end of the year and see where he's at. If he gets a clean run of health, he can build on his body, he can, build the tank, then let's look at it and go, okay, this is where we're at the end of the year. But if we're sitting, we're in the first week of May in his second year of footy, it's too soon to be jumping down his throat or writing him off or anything like that. So
Yeah. 100%. Like these same clueless muppets that are going on about Sid Draper on Twitter were begging for Charlie Edwards to come in. I don't understand. Like these blokes, they will sit there and they'll box score watch and do all this sort of stuff, but not actually watch on the involvement that they have. And look what Charlie Edwards came and did. So I'll take an apology to every single fuckwit that came and said he needs to play, because the kid, bless him. But he's got much further into his AFL career than we have, obviously. We're sitting here, drinking beers, watching these kids play and whinging about them on a fucking podcast that 500 people listen to a week. There is levels to it, but at the same time, come on, dude. Like, it's just Charlie Edwards. I hope you've enjoyed your 2 games, but you will be playing in rural Victoria next year, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I don't get it. And the individual that we were talking about a second ago also was very critical of Dan Curtin and said that he shouldn't be on the list and he was a bust. And look where we are now as one of our most influential and important players. And, you don't hear
all of those tweets have been deleted, by the way.
Yeah, of course they have.
All gone.
Yeah.
All gone.
No, of course they have. Because he can't be wrong. He's right at all times.
He's always up and about Dyson Sharp as well. And what's fucking Dyson Sharp done?
He had a good game against. He had a decent game against Brisbane. I only know this because I never traded him out.
He had a good fantasy game against Brisbane.
Yeah, but at the same time, this plotter was sitting around saying, he'll destroy the competition the second he comes in because he's built like a man. But he was playing against under-18s, built like a man. That's why he was doing the things he was doing. I would have loved to be able to jump up and grab Dyson early, but he's not breaking this world apart. And I can tell you right now, from watching him play senior football, he will not be getting big numbers for probably 2 or 3 seasons because he's now matched up to know what he should be. He's not that quick. He's a bigger body. So I think you might be having the same conversation about Dyson Sharp in 12 months time, yeah. Brett. But it's fine.
Yep. No, exactly right, mate. Let's move on to this week's game at the MCG Sunday afternoon. I think it's 2:45. Where else would you rather be against the Tigers? It's it's not really a big spectacle like it was last week. But
it's a definition of a pizza, garlic bread, and Coke on the couch type picture.
very much so, and I look forward to every second of it, and hopefully a cruisy win from it. Richmond, as I've got on the run sheet at the moment, Hospital FC, we might as well rename them to. There's no Nankervis, there's no Morris Rioli, there's no Hugo Ralph Smith, there's no Banks, there's no Smiley, Gibcus, Mansell, Houghton, and Dion Prestia also got injured on the weekend as well and won't be playing. Tim Taranto is a test, so I'm not going to write him out, but he's potentially not playing as well. The team, who are literally probably the worst in the league already, are decimated with injuries all over the park.
I'm excited for the return of Tom Lynch versus Jordan Butts.
That will be good. Oh, will Butts play?
One can hope, but then there's James Borlass, who might take the role and get smacked in the back of the head by the coward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was on something very strange last time. Tom Lynch. He was, very very odd. I'm just going to quickly look at the injury report and see if we have anything for Geordie Butts.
Groin was Butts.
Was he a hammy as well?
I think it was groin. It might have been groin or Butts. I don't know. One of the two.
Yeah, no injury report as of yet, so we don't know. But yeah, he obviously missed a big chunk of the game. Taylor Walker missed 3/4 and a bit of the game, so he probably won't be playing this week. You'd have to assume.
No chance.
They said 2 to 3 weeks for him, I think.
2 to 3. Yeah, get him to the bye and then just come back after that. I think
the 36-year-old is not coming back after 2 weeks. Will be about at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, well, what have we got? We got 3 and then a bye. So don't take him to Tasmania to play Hawthorn. Give him a month off. Come back after the bye, fit and firing. What do we think this week, boys? We on paper, you look at this and you go, we should be winning this by about 150 points. But what happens? What do we think?
I think we'll win by, I reckon, 48 to 50 points. One thing I will say: if we are not winning at quarter time, more to the point, if we are losing at quarter time, I'm not watching any more of the game in protest. I can't deal with if we cannot somehow lead at quarter time against the worst team in the comp, the team that's been the worst team in the comp for the last 3 years, along with West Coast at quarter time. What is the point of watching, even if we do win? We have to be serious here. We have to put the foot down, fucking take this finger out of our proverbial asses, and just play some fucking first half of 2025 Crows football, and just put these to the sword. Sorry for my language.
You're okay, mate. I fully agree. I think this needs to be a very Essendon round 2 last year type performance, and just dominate. Just run all over the top and just get the win. Don't take the foot off the pedal at any point and just get it done. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a real chance to dominate on Sunday, and I'll be with the fucking in-laws watching it. And they're all Port fans. So if we do not step up, oh mate, it's gonna be fucking awful, because I'll be sitting there, hopefully watching it. I know it is Mother's Day lunch, so I'm not sure what we're going to be fucking doing.
I just want to say, proper omen is not a very good omen. The last time we played Richmond in Melbourne on Mother's Day weekend, they were $8 to win and they won by 3 points. That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago to the day. On the exact day. I'm pretty sure I'm spot on with that being Mother's Day round.
What are they paying?
They were. Gamble responsibly, but
$5.75.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah.
It's reasonable. I mean, if we were the top 2, they'd be about $8, which is back to that omen. But yeah, I think we should be fine.
Saturday the 20th of May 2006 is that 3-point loss.
I think I'm being about a week or 2 off then in terms of Mother's Day, so forget that omen. But the point stands. 20 years ago, the last time we were these sort of odds against Richmond and Melbourne. You just never know. This game is strange. This year's been strange. Every game this year, you think we're going to dominate against average teams. We don't. So, I still think there's the golfing class between Crows and Richmond is just massive. 2017, that would have been great to have that sort of ledge over them, but it is what it is. Yeah, I can't see us losing. I can see Richmond winning at quarter time though, which is my big concern, because I can't stand these quarter time fade outs.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the other thing to consider as well is obviously they beat West Coast on the weekend. That was a very awe-inspiring win from Richmond. They were up and about, a real feel-good win. Oftentimes when a shit team has a win like that, they come back the next week and crash down to earth. So that's That's a positive sign. Let's just hope that happens again.
It is normal though for these bottom four teams. They might win 2 games, 3 games a year at this point. I mean, we haven't seen shitness like this in our lifetime. Consistent shitness in terms of teams just not being able to win more than 2 games a year than we have with the likes of West Coast and Richmond and North up until this year. So I hope these Richmond boys, or the 18, 9-year-olds playing in their first win, enjoying their week-long bender, rocking up the training late, bit groggy every morning. That'd be great. You know, please enjoy as much as you can, boys, because we'd love to play a week inside and just win by 80 plus or something like that. That'd be a massive shot to our very, very poor percentage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What are we on? We're about like 96 or something.
I think it's like 96.5 or something.
That's disappointing. That is so disappointing compared to where we were last year.
No, very, very average. Dill, who do you reckon? Let's just go around. Let's see who wins and how much. Who you got taking the win, mate?
Pros by 7 goals. First goal will go Ibis.
Like it.
I'm
How
backing.
about you?
I'm backing an Ibis as well. I think because he'll be leading the line as a tall forward with no Tex and no Fogarty and Thilthorpe underdone. It's an opportunity for him to just say, here I am. I'm more than just a 1 good game a year player, and I'm going to kick 4 or 5 goals, and people might remember the name Toby Murray. And I did say probably a 48 to 50 point win, so I'll stick with that. I just do dread a bad start.
Yeah. No, 100%. For me, I'm picking the Crows by 65 points. I think we go over there, we just get it done easily. I'll go Isaac for the first goal, and like we said earlier, I think he has a game. We're talking like 25-3 type of game from Isaac, I think, on the weekend, and just stamps his authority on the competition, I would hope.
I just want to be bored out of my brains watching Crows win comfortably. That's my dream. I'm not interested in a nail-biting game against Richmond. I can't be fucked. I don't think anyone can be bothered with that.
Yep. If we're in a scrap, we're in trouble. Let's, especially with their injury list, they should be nowhere near us. But yeah, I guess we'll see how we go. Anything you boys want to touch on before we head off?
No, I'm pretty much all covered. I think, I'm still ringing. The ears are still ringing from the Showdown. I think we'll continue watching highlights all week long. It is. I don't hope that's our best win of the year. I hope that we have some better wins against better teams. But if it is to be one of those years, and that is our standout win for the year, you can't complain.
Yeah, 100%. Dill, how about you, mate?
Not much. No, just good to be back and talking some footy finally. Obviously, I've been away for a little bit, so just quickly on that as well. I know it's been a very big topic, over the last few weeks, and if you just speak to your mates, just speak to your mates, see how everyone's going, wrap your arms around each other, because you're not sure what could happen to people. So yeah, just ask people how they're doing, how they're okay, and just have a bit of a deeper conversation from time to time. So yeah, that's about it.
Very, very well said, mates. And thank you everyone for listening. Of course, we will have an episode out next week breaking down hopefully a massive win against Richmond on Sunday afternoon, and a nice cruisy, boring win. Just 15 goals would be nice. Go give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, wherever, at propercrowspod. Thank you, Matt, for jumping on, mate.
No worries, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully a great 10 goal minimum win this week would be beautiful. But yeah, very, very much looking forward to the next episode.
Absolutely. And thank you very much, Dill.
No worries, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there on Sunday. Go the Crows.
Indeed. Go Crow.
Go Crow.
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! The bell in the city of Kansas! Stand up like Matthew Nicks and roar like you never have before!
Jarman again, round the ball.